In 2024, Costco pulled organic peppers off shelves nationwide after Listeria contamination was traced back to a processing facility. Listeria kills 1 in 5 adults over 50 who contract it. But grab peppers from the wrong grocery store, and what you're really bringing home is neurotoxic pesticide residue, salmonella breeding under sealed plastic wrap, and mold spores trimmed off and reshelved like nothing happened. If this is what goes into your stir-fry every Tuesday, what you chop into salads for the family, or what sits in your crisper drawer right now, you need to hear every word of this. I went through FDA alerts, health department citations, and recall databases to find which 11 grocery stores are selling you contaminated peppers, including 2 that market themselves as the premium choice, plus the 3 places where your peppers are actually safe to eat. Coming in at number 11, Dollar Tree, $1.25. That's the price of a fresh pepper here. Green bell peppers sitting on a shelf beside scented candles and birthday cards. No refrigeration case, no temperature monitoring, no cold chain whatsoever. Dollar Tree started stocking fresh produce to attract shoppers on extremely tight budgets who see it as an affordable path to eating more vegetables. The intention sounds admirable until you look at the execution. The chain has virtually no cold chain quality assurance infrastructure for produce. Multiple locations across the country have failed health inspections, specifically for produce temperature violations. Peppers sitting at room temperature for hours on end, with zero oversight. Where do these peppers come from? The cheapest available suppliers. No traceability, no pesticide testing, no documentation on what chemicals were applied. The supply chain has one criterion: lowest cost, period. Pick one up. Press your thumb into the skin. Feel that soft, spongy give. That's not ripeness. That's a pepper decomposing from the inside. That faint sour note you catch beneath the waxy surface is the early stage of bacterial breakdown that begins the moment cold chain protocols stop existing. For anyone managing heart disease or diabetes who adds peppers to meals as a healthy choice, or families stretching a grocery budget by shopping discount stores for produce, the combination of unknown pesticide exposure and bacterial contamination risk from a completely unrefrigerated supply chain creates a compounding health threat that dwarfs any savings at the register. $1.25. That's what your health is worth at Dollar Tree. If that's the bottom of the barrel, surely a bigger store with more resources does better. Not necessarily. At number 10, Dollar General, over 20,000 locations. More stores than McDonald's in America. Dollar General has expanded aggressively into food deserts, communities where the nearest real grocery store is 30, 40, 50 minutes away by car. They put peppers on the shelf and call it fresh produce access. But access without safety isn't access. It's exposure with a price tag. Their limited refrigeration infrastructure means peppers routinely sit at temperatures well above USDA guidelines for fresh produce storage. The chain has racked up health department violations for produce conditions across multiple states. Slow inventory turnover means those peppers aren't moving through the store quickly. They're sitting still, warming steadily, growing bacteria in conditions that would earn a restaurant kitchen an immediate shutdown order. Salmonella has been found in improperly stored peppers with exactly this temperature profile. For adults over 50 with weakened immune systems, a salmonella infection isn't a rough weekend. It's an emergency room visit. It can be fatal for older adults whose bodies no longer mount effective immune responses, and for families in those underserved communities who have no other option for fresh vegetables. There's no backup plan, no alternative down the road. Just peppers that may have been sitting above safe temperature since the delivery truck left. Squeeze one at Dollar General. Notice the wrinkled skin near the stem, the dull matte finish where there should be a glossy shine. The flesh gives under your fingers before you even press hard. Fresh produce for food, desserts. Health violations for the people living in them. 2 budget stores down, 2 sets of failed inspections. But a smaller, neighborhood-focused store should handle produce more carefully, right? Wrong. Number 9, Walmart Neighborhood Market. Designed to feel like the friendly local grocery. No giant supercenter maze, quick parking, quick shopping, a smaller store with Walmart prices. The peppers look normal, the bins are tidy, Everything feels fine, but these smaller format stores actually have less rigorous cold storage and weaker inventory rotation than full-size Walmart locations. Less space means less equipment. Less equipment means less temperature control. And the FDA has flagged imported peppers at Walmart-supplied stores for illegal pesticide residues, including one called methimidofos. Methimidofos is an organophosphate nerve agent. It interferes with acetylcholinesterase, the enzyme your brain relies on to regulate nerve signals throughout your entire body. For anyone taking cholinesterase inhibitor medications prescribed for dementia or Alzheimer's, or anyone preparing dinner each night for a parent or spouse on those prescriptions, methimidofos works directly against the medication, keeping their cognitive function intact. The pill fights to protect the brain. The pepper fights to undo it. That's not a theoretical concern buried in a medical journal. That's a chemical war happening inside a human body, triggered by a pepper from the friendly neighborhood Walmart. You can't see methimidofos on the skin. You can't taste it when you bite in. You can't scrub it away under the kitchen faucet because it absorbs deep into the flesh of the pepper during the growing season. It's inside the vegetable itself. Washing changes nothing. Walk into a neighborhood market this weekend. The peppers are shiny and stacked neatly. The prices are low. The lighting feels warm. Nothing looks wrong. Everything is wrong. Friendly store. Nerve agent on the produce. The next one takes a different approach to the same problem. Buy more. Save more. Risk more. This next one might surprise you. Number 8. Sam's Club, the warehouse bulk model. Big bags of mixed bell peppers, red, yellow, orange, green, sealed in heavy plastic and stacked in refrigerated bins. It looks like a smart meal prep move. A week's worth of vegetables in one bag. Except bulk packaging creates a problem nobody talks about. Those peppers sit longer in sealed environments. Sealed plastic traps moisture against the skin. Moisture feeds bacteria. The condensation you see beating inside the wrap isn't freshness. It's the beginning of a bacterial incubation cycle that started before you even reached the shelf. Sam's Club has had pepper shipments directly linked to Salmonella outbreak investigations. Bulk means more peppers, more surface contact, more cross-contamination potential, and more days sealed in damp conditions bacteria love. Open that bag 3 days after purchase. That humid greenhouse smell hits immediately. Not rotten, just off. That tang of trapped moisture and warm plastic tells you something has been growing in there. For adults over 50 taking proton pump inhibitors or daily antacids, and tens of millions of Americans are on these medications right now, reduced stomach acid leaves you significantly more vulnerable to foodborne pathogens. A healthy stomach with proper acidity can kill some bacteria on contact. A stomach suppressed by Prilosec or Nexium has lost that frontline defense entirely. The acid that was protecting you is gone. The bacteria that would have died now survive. You bought savings. You may have bought Salmonella. 5 pounds of peppers. 5 pounds of sealed, sweating bacterial risk. Bulk buying hides bacteria in moisture. But what does a store with a produce freshness scandal hide behind its friendly reputation? Let's find out. Number 7. Food Lion, a staple of the Southeast. The store where retirees across the Carolinas, Virginia, and Georgia shop every Saturday morning. Familiar aisles, friendly cashiers, the neighborhood grocery your neighbors swore by when you moved down south. Food Lion feels safe because it feels personal. Then you learn about the mold. Food Lion faced a national scandal in the 90s for redating expired products, changing sell-by stickers, putting old food back on shelves with a fresh date. That was decades ago. Things have changed. Except the violations kept coming. State-level citations for produce freshness have continued well beyond that era. Peppers showing visible mold, being trimmed with a knife and placed back in the display bin. Not discarded, not composted, trimmed and resold. The rotten part carved away. The rest returned to the shelf for you to pick up and bag without a second glance. Examine a Food Lion pepper closely. Check the stem end under the light. See that slightly damp, dark patch where the color shifts. That's where the mold was growing before someone decided the remaining pepper was still good enough to sell to your family. They trimmed the evidence. They couldn't trim the spores. Mold exposure from contaminated produce triggers respiratory inflammation. For anyone living with COPD or asthma who struggles with lung function daily, or families with young children whose respiratory systems are still developing, invisible mold spores embedded in trimmed pepper flesh are a health hazard disguised as a sale-price vegetable. They trimmed the mold. They didn't trim the danger. See the pattern forming? Budget chains ignore temperature. Regional chains ignore freshness. So where does that leave the big Midwest supercenters with their farm fresh banners? Right here. Here's where it gets personal. Number 6. Meijer, the Midwest supercenter that sponsors Little League teams, supports local farmers markets, and hangs farm fresh signage over every produce display. Meijer feels like a company that genuinely cares about your community. Then you look at what's on the peppers beneath those banners. Independent testing has found that big box supercenters like Meijer consistently carry peppers with higher detectable pesticide residue levels than specialty grocers and natural food stores. The reason is structural. Bulk purchasing from large conventional farming operations means lower per-unit costs and lower safety standards. Those farm-fresh signs are marketing. The pesticide residues are chemistry. One chemical class commonly found on conventional peppers at stores like Meijer is organophosphates, the same category as methimidofos from 3 entries ago. For adults over 50, carefully managing diabetes and monitoring blood sugar levels, or families adding extra vegetables to every meal to improve their diet, certain organophosphate residues have been specifically associated with impaired glucose metabolism in peer-reviewed research. The pepper you're adding to your plate to help control blood sugar may carry chemicals that make blood sugar harder to control. Your healthy choice, sabotaged before it reached your kitchen. Hold a Meijer pepper up to the light. It looks flawless, glossy, firm, deeply colored. The wax coating gives it that perfect shine. That same coating seals in whatever was sprayed during the growing season. Farm fresh doesn't mean pesticide-free. The Little League banner hangs above a bin of contaminated peppers. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It's free, and it means you'll never miss these exposés. You just saw what the regional and big box stores are hiding. Surely spending more at a proper discount grocer gets you cleaner produce. Don't count on it. Number 5 is one people defend passionately. Aldi, the no-frills discount grocer with a cult-like following. Retirees on fixed incomes swear by it. Budget bloggers rave about it. The prices are unbeatable, and the stores feel honest, stripped of flashy marketing and unnecessary overhead. But Aldi's cost-cutting model extends far deeper than store design. Their peppers are sourced from the cheapest available international suppliers. Some of those suppliers have failed FDA inspections for unapproved pesticide residues and bacterial contamination. Unapproved means chemicals that haven't cleared American safety review. Chemicals the FDA specifically flagged because they should not be present on food sold to American families. Sitting on the peppers, Aldi sells for 99 cents a pound. The cost cutting doesn't stop at the shelf price. It reaches into who grows your food, where they grow it, and what they spray on it before it crosses international borders. For anyone managing kidney function or taking daily blood pressure medication, or families feeding peppers to children whose developing organs process chemicals differently than adult bodies do. Additional chemical load from poorly screened imports strains filtration systems already working at capacity. Your kidneys filter every contaminant that enters your bloodstream. When those kidneys are already taxed by age, medication, or chronic conditions, a 99-cent pepper becomes a medical liability. Squeeze an Aldi pepper. It feels firm. It looks bright, but that thin skin conceals whatever was absorbed during a growing season in a country you'll never visit. On a farm no one audited. Aldi saved you 60 cents. Your body paid the difference. The next store on this list is where most Americans buy their groceries every single week. And what the FDA found on their peppers should concern everyone. We're not done. The next brand on this list has faced repeated FDA import alerts for pesticide violations on its peppers. And and roughly 150 million Americans walk through its doors every week. Check your fridge, seriously, because number 4 is Walmart, the largest grocery retailer in America. More peppers flow through Walmart's supply chain than any other store in the country. Bell peppers, hot peppers, sweet mini peppers. Every variety, every color, every price point. Walmart has faced repeated FDA import alerts on peppers from suppliers with documented pesticide residue violations. Not a single incident. Not an isolated batch. A pattern of sourcing from operations that repeatedly fail federal safety screening. And their rapid inventory turnover, which should mean fresher produce, actually creates wildly inconsistent sourcing with minimal traceability. Different peppers from different farms, different countries, different chemical standards, all mixed in the same display bin. You have no idea which country grew your pepper. The employee stocking the shelf doesn't know either. Nobody in that building can tell you what's on your food. For adults over 50, dealing with chronic inflammation or cardiovascular concerns, or families buying peppers here weekly because the price feels right, chronic low-level pesticide exposure has been linked to increased inflammatory markers throughout the body. Inflammation worsens blood pressure. It strains the heart. It makes existing conditions harder to manage, even with proper medication. Look at the Walmart pepper bin. Some are shiny and firm. Others, in the exact same pile, are already softening and fading. That inconsistency isn't natural variety. It's a supply chain that moves too fast to know or care where anything comes from. Lowest price in America. Lowest accountability to match. Drop a comment if Walmart is where you usually grab your peppers. Let's see how many of us have been reaching into that bin without thinking twice. Think paying more at a fancier store protects you? Wait until you hear about number 3. Safeway, a West Coast and Mid-Atlantic institution. Generations of families have trusted Safeway for their weekly groceries. Their Signature Farms brand sounds like quality you can feel good about. Signature Farms. 2 words designed to make you picture open fields and farmers who care about what they grow. But investigations have revealed what Signature Farms actually delivers. Many conventional Safeway peppers come from operations that use chlorpyrifos and other pesticides the EPA has moved to restrict. Chlorpyrifos is a neurotoxin. The EPA restricted it because of documented evidence of neurological damage in humans. It attacks the brain. It impairs cognitive function. It disrupts the nervous system at a cellular level. For anyone already at elevated risk for cognitive decline or Alzheimer's, or families regularly feeding these peppers to children whose brains are still actively developing neural pathways. Consistent consumption of peppers carrying neurotoxic residues may contribute to accelerated neurological damage over months and years. That's not fringe speculation. It's the reason the EPA took regulatory action and Safeway kept sourcing from the same operations. Smell a Safeway pepper. Nothing alarming. Taste it raw in a salad. Nothing unusual. That's exactly the danger with neurotoxic residues. They don't announce themselves with an off flavor or a strange odor or a visible warning sign. They accumulate silently inside your body. Pepper after pepper, week after week. Year after year of trusting that Signature Farms means something real and protective. Signature Farms, signed, sealed, and sprayed with neurotoxins. If the premium store is contaminated, surely the one everyone loves, the warehouse with the loyal fan base, is different. It's not. Number 2. Costco, the warehouse club everyone trusts without question. The membership card that doubles as a quality guarantee in most shoppers' minds. Costco's reputation for premium products at fair prices has earned a loyalty most retailers would kill for. That trust follows shoppers straight into the produce section, where they load up on multi-packs of peppers without inspecting a single one. In 2024, an organic pepper recall hit Costco shelves. The cause was potential Listeria contamination traced to a processing facility. Organic peppers, the ones you specifically chose and paid more for because you believed they were grown and handled to a higher standard. Contaminated with Listeria. Most foodborne bacteria make you sick for a few miserable days. Listeria puts you in the hospital. For adults over 50, the hospitalization rate from Listeria exceeds 90%. The fatality rate for older adults with compromised immunity approaches 20%. 1 in 5. That's not a statistic. That's a death sentence wrapped in organic packaging. And for younger shoppers buying bulk peppers for elderly parents or prepping meals for the whole family every Sunday, Listeria doesn't check ages at the dinner table. Open a Costco multi-pack. 8, 10, 12 peppers sealed in tight cellophane. See the condensation droplets beading on the inside of the plastic. That trapped moisture is exactly where Listeria thrives and multiplies. Cool, damp, sealed, undisturbed for days on end. The perfect incubation chamber for the one deadly bacterium that not only survives refrigeration, but actually grows stronger in cold, moist conditions. Organic label, deadly pathogen. Same annual membership fee. The #1 spot goes to the chain that fooled everyone with 2 simple words on a label. The #1 spot belongs to a store that built an entire product line around the promise of cleaner food. What their own produce section reveals is the opposite. #1, Kroger, America's largest traditional supermarket chain. The company that invented Simple Truth, an entire brand designed to signal clean ingredients, honest sourcing, and food you can feel good about feeding your family. Simple Truth, 2 words that did more marketing work than a billion-dollar ad campaign. They imply everything else on the shelf is complicated and dishonest. But you chose the simple, true option. You're protected, except you're not. Conventional Kroger peppers have landed on Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen adjacent lists for elevated pesticide contamination. The same company selling you Simple Truth in one aisle is selling you some of the most pesticide-heavy produce in American retail in the next aisle over. 2 words, zero protection. And the storage makes it worse. Kroger stores have received citations for inadequate cold chain maintenance in their produce departments. Cold chain failures mean temperature swings that accelerate nutrient degradation. The vitamin C, the antioxidants, the heart-protective compounds that are the entire reason you buy peppers, they degrade every time the temperature fluctuates, even briefly. For anyone relying on peppers for cardiovascular and antioxidant benefits, or families who chose Kroger specifically because Simple Truth felt trustworthy, you're getting diminished nutrition alongside elevated chemical residues. Less of what helps you, more of what harms you. Walk through Kroger's produce section. Press a few peppers in the same bin. Some are cold and crisp. Others feel room temperature and soft. That inconsistency is the cold chain failing while you watch. Simple Truth. Simply contaminated. The biggest lie in the biggest produce aisle in America. What's the worst pepper you've ever brought home? Moldy, slimy, soft, or completely tasteless? Drop it below. 11 stores, 11 failures. But don't give up on peppers entirely. 3 sources prove you can still buy clean, safe, nutrient-dense peppers without gambling your health at the checkout line. Safe pick 1. Trader Joe's. Finally, a store that earns the trust other chains just borrow. Trader Joe's maintains direct relationships with a small network of vetted suppliers, not hundreds of anonymous farms rotating through a bulk purchasing algorithm. A curated group of growers held to strict private label quality standards on every delivery. Their peppers consistently test lower for pesticide residues in independent laboratory analyses. Not zero, because perfection doesn't exist in agriculture, but measurably, verifiably lower than what Walmart, Kroger, and Safeway stock. And when something goes wrong, Trader Joe's operates a transparent, rapid recall system that pulls products from shelves faster than most chains can even identify the problem. That speed determines how many families bring contamination home. Pick up a Trader Joe's pepper, feel the firm skin, resist your thumb. Notice the bright sheen that comes from proper cold storage, not chemical wax. Snap the stem. A clean break with an audible crack means genuine freshness. That crispness is what proper temperature management preserves from harvest to shelf. For anyone watching cardiovascular health or managing daily inflammation, or families who want to cook with peppers without worrying about hidden residues, Reduced chemical exposure means more of the pepper's natural vitamin C and capsaicin actually reach your body intact. Not degraded by temperature abuse, not masked by pesticide residue. Real nutrition from a real vegetable at a store that actually tests what it sells you. Trader Joe's costs a little more per pepper. You get a lot more back in safety and nutrition. Safe Pick 2. Whole Foods. Market. The strictest produce quality standards in American grocery retail. Not a slogan printed on a banner. Not a marketing campaign. An enforced purchasing policy. Whole Foods bans over 100 pesticides that other major chains allow freely on their conventional peppers. Over 100 chemicals that Walmart, Kroger, Safeway, Costco, and Aldi all permit on the produce they sell you. Eliminated from the Whole Foods supply chain entirely. Their peppers carry either organic USDA certification or must meet the responsibly grown rating system, independently audited by third parties for both pesticide use and sustainable farming practices. Independent audit means someone who doesn't profit from selling you that pepper has verified the standards are real and enforced. That's the critical difference between a marketing claim and a verified fact. Hold a Whole Foods pepper in your hand. The weight tells you something immediately. A properly grown, properly stored pepper feels noticeably heavy for its size. Thick walls, dense, firm flesh, deep, even color across every surface without pale spots. That's nutrient density you can literally feel in your hand before you buy it. For adults over 50 whose livers process medications less efficiently each passing year, or anyone concerned about endocrine-disrupting chemicals building up in their system over time, the absence of those 100-plus banned pesticides means dramatically less toxic burden on organs that are already working harder than they did a decade ago. Hormonal balance, kidney filtration, liver function, all better protected. Whole Foods costs more at the register. The real question is what the cheaper stores cost your body over time. Safe. Pick 3. Your local farmer's market. Not a chain, not a brand, not a corporation with a marketing department. Just the closest thing in America to knowing exactly what you're eating. Farmers market vendors typically harvest peppers within 24 to 48 hours of sale. Grocery store peppers may travel for weeks through warehouses, distribution hubs, and refrigerated trucks before reaching your store. Vitamin C is heat sensitive. It degrades with time and temperature exposure. A pepper picked yesterday has dramatically more of it than one picked 3 weeks ago in another hemisphere. Many small farm vendors follow organic or low spray practices by choice. And here's what no chain store on earth can offer. You can ask the person who grew the pepper, face to face, exactly what was sprayed on it during the growing season. Complete transparency. No customer service hotline. No corporate runaround. A farmer standing behind their food with their name and their reputation on the line. Try that at any chain on this list. You'll get a phone number and a recorded message. Pick up a farmer's market pepper. Smell the stem end. That bright, green, almost grassy scent is freshness measured in hours. The skin snaps when you press it. The seeds inside are white and plump. For anyone focused on immune function and reducing chronic inflammation, or families who want their children eating vegetables at peak nutritional value, locally grown peppers deliver maximum antioxidant content and maximum return for every dollar you spend on produce. No mystery supply chain, no anonymous farms, no silent contamination. Just a pepper grown nearby and eaten today.
11 stores, 11 warnings, one produce aisle that needs your attention. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.